That's the last Gundam. Overwatching the lava pit with a distinct rank and purple hair. His subordinate tells him that this is the 132nd Gundam to be scrapped in the disposal center. But it feels a little sad. The Gundam protected the world during the Great War. A guardian deity, if you will. Says the purple-haired man, saying that it's such an idiotic sentiment. If you have a weapon, people will want to use it. So when you create a weapon, you could say, you're creating your own enemy. As the last Gundam melts away, he continues talking, saying that after it's gone from this world, an everlasting peace will begin on this planet. Despair Memory Gundam Sequel. A tale of betrayal about a lost god. It's been 20 years since the last Gundam was melted down, and we find ourselves in the city of Gundorado. As an elderly woman is being led to her execution, royalty looks down on her, saying, so this is Bloody Coris? Says the king disappointedly, because to him, she just looks like an old woman. The queen remarks, what crime could someone like that possibly commit? In response, the king slams his fist in anger. Just speaking of that woman's sins would be a sin in itself. Killing is just like a game to her, like a child in a sandbox building, and then destroying a sand castle. She has tried to turn our Gundorado into her playground. The queen laments and says, but even sinners surely have some good in them. She asks the king to have some mercy on the old woman. He retorts by calling her sweet. That sweetness is what he loves about her, but that she should reserve that sweetness for him alone. The executioners proceed to stab her on both sides and light her aflame on the stake. The crowd cheers as she's burned to a crisp, and with satisfaction in his eyes, he says that she was better suited to play in hell. But in that moment, burning fingers erupt from the flames. She grabbed the executioner and set him on fire. She stands over the fire with a determined glare. The guards begin to tremble. How could she survive even though she's on fire? She's a monster! Before any of the guards had a chance to fire, she throws the burning corpse at them and leaps onto the balcony, landing in front of the king, telling him that he's fourth in line to the throne, and that she missed him. In terror, all the king could say, You're Neos! She then takes his own sword and impales him. She says no hard feelings, just doing a favor for someone who hates you. He calls her a bastard, realizing that she got caught on purpose, because she knew he was going to show up to the execution. And that's right. The queen's face then turns from one of horror to elation. She laughs maniacally, saying, well done, that she's so glad she hired the assassin. Ever since she was kidnapped from the Sand Tower City and made to be his queen, she hated that man. Saying Coris is an angel sent from God himself, that she is there to rescue. As the queen starts screaming in agony as the assassin begins to burn her face, she says, don't thank her just yet. Before she took on this request, the king had a request of his own, that if the queen tried to have him killed, to kill her along with him. The queen's final words were, but you're an angel, didn't God send you? The only response the assassin had was to laugh. What are you talking about? Don't you know? God is God. He always betrays his people. And that was the first chapter of this new story. The setting is interesting, but it's also familiar. In this alternate universe, a great war killed half the population. The Gundams protected everyone, but in order to achieve peace, they needed to be destroyed. and humanity is more primitive, because the second half of the story almost looks like it's in medieval times. So I think this is going to be an interesting ride. And the writer for this is also known for being like a screenwriter for a bunch of Kamen Rider series. So yeah, I'm curious how this is going to go. That's it for now. Take care.